Hey, Carrie Burchill here, joining you for another episode of Shine Like a North Star. I always make these sessions with you just in time thoughts. So, my consulting work this week has had a huge focus on prioritization. People are just really spinning, they're bubbling over, bubbling out, burning out. It's messy out there. So let me just give you a little bit of a context here of the spin. It's real. And by the spin, I'm talking about those day-to-day things that just get in the way of you being able to stay on top of it, feeling successful, all of that stuff. And so when people spin, they're trying desperately to sort of get out of the spin, right? It doesn't feel good. And sometimes leaders can see their team spinning with clarity, right? Or you in your organization or team might see a resolution or a solution to that spinning. So let me provide a bit of context here. So imagine that your environment is this clear liquid. You can see it. It's obvious to you that there's nothing obstructing it, right? You see what the solution is that needs to happen. Okay, so you take your great idea and you dump it into this solution. Here's what happens. So it's clear, you're thoughtful, you have all of your great ideas, and go figure, the great ideas bubble over in that environment that you sort of see as ready for the work. And so now you're depleted, all of your great ideas have not been accepted, you're frustrated, there's nothing left in kind of the bottom of that bucket to keep diving in for deeper, smarter, different approaches. Now that's partly because your leader or your team or whoever you're sort of engaging in this work is spinning in their own right. So, prioritization, right? If everybody's spinning, everybody's trying to accomplish everything, and more requests just keep coming in, things bubble over. Your suggestions aren't heard because other people are bubbling over. There's just too much activity going on. And of course, as we all feel, right, that really leads to burnout. So one strategy I really want to chat through with you today, because every single client that I've talked with this week has talked about the challenge of too many things going on, that spin just being faster than it was last week, is this idea of prioritizing. So let me share a couple of ideas with you. So one idea is to use a priority payoff matrix. So this is an Eisenhower matrix, and it's really looking at everything that you have going on right now. What is urgent, what is significant, not urgent, and significant. And you'll see on the left axis here, there's the importance of the work. So there's low importance or high importance. And then on the bottom, there's an urgency, right? So if we think of things not being super urgent and not really have a lot of impact or importance, then this is the red stuff that I can just sort of leave. But if I think there's something that's really important with high urgency, then I need to communicate that with the team and sort of get that worked out. If I think of something as significant but low urgency, how can I map that out on the timeline of what the organization is going through? And then there's this stuff here that just it doesn't really have a lot of urgency and it's not really important. So this is one way to think through like a filter that you can use to sort of say, these are all of the many ways that, these are all the projects that we have going on, and literally with sticky notes, just putting them in each of these boxes. So sometimes using a structure can help filter out all the bubbling over stuff, like which stuff can we actually let fall off and which stuff needs to shift. I was recently doing another keynote and was on a panel with Dr. Chris Jensen, and he talked about something similar to this. These are my words on the pyramid, but he's really just a great co-presenter, had some neat insights for the team talking about prioritizing and really helping everybody with some common language, like what do you consider the 911 things are? So this is an alternative way to kind of talk through prioritization and what can we let go of. So if it's 911, do it now, like all hands on deck, things need to stop, this is a crisis. So let's say you lose power, right? Or your IT stuff goes down, or there's some sort of safety thing that's entered the environment, right? All of these things are like, fix it right now. Then you have the stuff that's super important, So maybe in the next 30 minutes, I need to make sure that this happens, but it's not this second, but it's definitely super urgent. Level 3 here is really do it by the end of the day stuff. So priority, it needs to get done. Tomorrow's not going to be successful unless I get to this. And part of Dr. Jensen's sort of message here is the first 3 levels, that's a fantastic employee. If we can sort of get through the stuff that needs to get done, awesome. And in the space of people's burnout, arguably, that's a win, right? Getting to these first 3 things is a win. Then you have, beyond that, it would be nice to have it done. And of course, the very top of the pyramid is the bonus stuff. So what is powerful here when we think through about prioritizing is picking a model that works for you and having the discussion with your team on where they see things. Is it level 1 in the pyramid, or is it the urgent, not important? Look at the big projects and then look at some of the crumbs, if you will, of bonus stuff to have. And you may see something as a bonus, but someone else may see it as the need to happen. So I mentioned earlier, I just got a new computer. That was like definitely needs to happen, was not urgent because my old computer was working. It was slow, it was kind of clunky, but gosh, it would be important to get a new computer for all the benefits of a new computer, right? Now, maybe my business partner would see that as urgent and important because some of the functionality that they had on the computer wasn't working for them, right? So having this discussion with people to say, from my vantage point, it's a bonus thing, or it's a 911 thing. It's a very important, not so urgent thing. We all see tasks and priorities differently, partly with the way we're wired, partly because of how we approach our work and our role. So let's get on the same page and talk through what has to happen and what some of that stuff that can fall off our shoulders. Now, getting to that spot of letting things fall off our shoulders is a team approach. It is really hard to let stuff go for all of us. And so obviously, if you're watching this video, you're a committed, engaged leader. You want to help the team achieve. Maybe you're a team member, you want to help the team achieve. Like whatever has you growing and engaged by watching this video says you're going to have a hard time letting stuff go. So it's easier to let go when you are in a partnership with other people, or you have a shared language, or you have a way of like, oof, that was hard. Or you have backup when you say to someone, I don't have bandwidth for that for 3 more weeks. And that person might push back and you can kind of go, I know my team has my back, or I know my leader has my back because we've had this conversation. It is so tough. The reality that I see, like I say with every client this week, is that we're still trying to do what happened before COVID, just harder, pushing it more, still like expecting the same stuff. And really, we have the pre-COVID world, and then we have all this other stuff that we're still managing that came in addition to pulling out of COVID. So not only the old paradigm, but we have this new stuff too, and we're still trying to do it all, which is not really doable anymore. So we have to get conscious and conscientious about what we can let go of, and that's through conversation with our team. So as a leader, what are the non-negotiable things? I was talking with a doctor of nursing today, and she was saying how there's not a nursing shortage. Wrap your head around that. There's a shortage of nurses that are willing to work in the current environment. So whatever industry you're in, is it really a shortage of people that could do the job? Or is it a shortage of people that are willing to do the job in the environment that you offer? Right? People's expectations have shifted. Right? Recruitment and retention is a problem in every industry. So shift. Let some stuff go. What used to work before COVID is no longer tolerable for a bunch of reasons, and you may have a bias that we have to keep doing what we did before in order to be successful. Engage the employees, ask their questions, let them figure it out. The different way might be the winner chicken dinner for you. The bottom line is we need you, and you keep showing up, which is why you're watching this video. I'm worried about your burnout. I'm worried about your employees and your colleagues' burnout. So let's rally together and enter that awkward space of sort of saying, I can let some of this stuff go. It's not ideal. I'm not going to feel fantastic about the quality work, but hitting the 100% of perfect or hitting 85, is it really making a difference in people's experience on the other side? For that stuff that does make a difference, absolutely hang on to it. You don't need every single detail to still have that impact in the service that you provide. So please take care of yourself. Start having some awkward conversations. What are people's top 3 priorities? Where would they put it if you use the Eisenhower box or if you use the pyramid? Find a structure to talk through the important work so that you can rally around the stuff that matters and go home feeling a wee bit more successful about the good work you are doing. Right now, so many leaders I talk with go home feeling, because there's so much more to do tomorrow. Let's change that. Let's shift our mindset. It's okay to let go of some things. See you next week on Shine Like a North Star.